Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Man and Machine, episode 185 here with the PeakBot team. Ben, get the music rolling. Do we have new music?
We've got new music. I'm digging Desert Blaze. That's the name of this track.
No, let's hear it.
Just put it on.
Can you put it up a little?
I'm making it louder.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This one. Okay, when we're doing our trade of the day, when we're forming our trade idea on American Airlines later, the premium's looking really nice, although it'll be pre-market data, so it won't be great. It'll be really, like I gotta yell it. Now we're at the club, trying to talk to people. You're spilling your drink.
All right. We'll switch the vibe. Switch the vibe to start.
All right, this is better. All right, well, hey, it's been a while since we've been live. Hope everybody who celebrates Thanksgiving had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Even if you didn't, hoping you're just enjoying the last few weeks. It's been a crazy market. As always, I feel like we say that
every time. It's never gonna not be crazy.
Never gonna not be crazy. So hopefully the market's been treating you well. Hopefully you've been treating it well, and hopefully you're automating. So today we've got a packed agenda. All right, so of course we're going to review some results over the last few weeks with our bots. We're going to do stocks in real life. We're talking about American Airlines today. Why? Well, coming out of the government shutdown, Ben and I, when we were last live, talked about, hey, what industry, what part of the market here can really get some opportunity or be set for a downfall, and which angle do we want to take? We're going to talk about airlines. Big topic of conversation, a lot of data, a lot of ups and downs. So we'll talk about that, maybe put a trade idea out around it. We're going to talk about King AI today, our favorite strategy. I shouldn't speak for the team. It's been my favorite strategy as of late, although we'll also talk briefly about a couple of our partners who have been absolutely crushing it. Copy trading partners exclusive with Tradier, and some that are coming soon with a ton of hype behind them. So that and much more today. No trader trivia on Mondays, or is there? I forget.
No, not
okay,
on Mondays.
Sorry, you'll have to come back on Friday. All right, Ben, I'm already talking too much. Did I cover everything from a high level, and do we want to get into it?
Yeah, no, I think you covered everything from a high level. Let's dive in. Let's see what's going on. Let's talk about American Airlines.
Okay, let's.
Do you fly American Airlines?
Not necessarily, no. I couldn't tell you the last time I was on an American Airlines flight, actually.
Yeah, I mean, where we are in northern New Jersey, United just dominates.
Well, right. It's the hub out of Newark, and even I think the New York airports. Not that I would ever go to any of the New York airports.
Yeah.
For any reason.
Shouldn't.
I'm a small airport guy now. I have a young one, and traveling with a young one in a busy airport, specifically lately, no. But no, I'm a United guy. But I'll tell you, I've been flying out of PA, Lehigh Valley, and they have really cheap, because I'm still at the point of life where I'm chasing cheap over comfort with my flights. They got cheap Allegiant flights.
Oh, Allegiant, yeah.
Yeah. Now it's not luxury, but it's not a terrible flight by any means. You know, it's not Spirit.
Listen, you could deal with, well, Allegiant, I was pretty close to Spirit, but anyways, but for a 3-hour flight, no, you're fine. It's fine.
I'm going 2 hours to Florida. I'm up in the air for an hour.
You're not going to take that 8 hours to Europe.
No, United, if we're going big time. But American Airlines, no, I can't say I've ever been on an AAL flight.
I think I have been before. It's just, it's not popular in the airports where we're at.
Where are they out of? Let's see.
What's their main hub?
Let's see. Dallas makes sense. Yep. Okay, so Dallas Fort Worth is their head. They're big in Chicago as well, Charlotte, LA. Now we're just listing some airports, but that's what it seems. Hey, how about when they went public?
That's a good question.
I'm going to guess. I'm
going to guess the 70s.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. American Airlines IPO. Yeah, this is crazy. Okay, so if what I'm seeing here is accurate, they did not have an IPO in the way the term is typically used. It was formed in 2013 by a merger through AMR Corporation and US Airways. Okay. It was delisted and converted to shares in a new parent company, which is now publicly traded under AAL. So it was established in 2013, December, as part of a merger. How about that?
Didn't know that.
Didn't know that.
Interesting.
And then last thing, in June 2020, Airlines conducted a public offering.
Your audio's cutting out. You got to get closer to that microphone.
All right. Well, it was the least important fact of all of them. Okay. So if there's one to miss, it's that. All right, cool. So Ben, we talked about our personal experiences or lack thereof with American Airlines.
Which makes me think, why didn't we choose like United? And the answer is because we've already talked about United.
Okay. Do you want to switch? We could. But all right. No, let's dive into this. Ben, let's pull up a chart. Let's see what they've been doing. And give me your little thesis here that you gave me. I shouldn't use little. That is a rude word for what you gave me.
Can you pull up the chart? I've got some stuff going on my trading view, and I don't want to lose that spot.
Don't blame you. All right. So what are we looking for when we look at this chart, Ben? Based on the government shutdown.
So here's the theory that we're gonna try to work on here. The government shut down. What industries did that affect? One of the industries that affected was airlines, right? Because air traffic controllers did not want to go to work. TSA didn't want to go to work because they weren't getting paid. Therefore, a lot of these airlines were suffering a little bit because they couldn't get flights off the ground. So the theory is, let's take a look at the time period of the government shutdown and take a look at the stock price. I'll tell you in a second. We're going to take a look at that stock price during that time period. If the stock price declined, that means that people were obviously building in the price of airlines not making as much money. If stock price didn't really do anything or even went up, then during next earnings, we might want to look for a little bit of drop in price. So let's see the price action between, let's see, I'm looking up what the dates were. So we get the exact dates.
Yeah, while you're pulling that up, I'll get it marked here.
So it began on October 1st.
All right, so October
and lasted for 43 days.
And when did it end? I'm sorry?
43 days. So call it November 13th. What was that? November 14th?
I'm going to give a line at November 14th right now.
I'm going to get you the date. I remember there was a vote. It was a Wednesday night. Yeah, okay. November 13th.
Yeah, okay.
And then I guess reopen the 14th, so. All right.
All right, so there's our time period in between these lines here.
So AAL went up during that time period.
And then the government reopened, immediately shut down. The market itself kind of took a dump at the reopen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of expected there. So dropped out. So yeah, we were bullish in that time period. A big gap up here. This was an earnings report. Okay, so they had a pretty good earnings report in the middle of this, which helped a good spike here. Then they traded in between this, call it $12.65 to $14 range until the end of the government shutdown. When things reopened, the market itself kind of took a dump, brought AAL with it. But ever since November 18th, so we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the last 7 trading sessions, the last 5 specifically, we are on the up and up. Now hitting this $14 could be a resistance point. Yeah, so if we look back historically here, it seems to have touched, Ben, we've bounced off of 14 twice.
Yep.
So right here back in beginning of September, we got close again here in the government shutdown. It bounced right off of it here on November 10th, and we're at that price here again. So some consolidation on the price after some big movement over the last 2 weeks. Really some large daily bars here for the last month. And then really no action this past Friday. I mean, maybe expected with the holiday, but Ben, what are your thoughts looking at this?
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? Stock price went up, which initial reaction is, okay, well, it doesn't look like the decline, it doesn't look like the decline in sales or any cost of the government shutdown that impacted the airline industry doesn't look like that's built in. But here's the thing: when they release earnings, which this is going to be their Q4 earnings now, so that's going to get released sometime around, I'd say, the March timeframe. When that gets released, earnings are going to be lower as a result because they had this time period of a couple of weeks where they just weren't able to get as many flights off the ground as normal. Now, investors are going to look at that one of two ways. They're going to look at that and be like, oh, they didn't make as much money. That's not good. That's not as good for shareholder value. And then they're going to sell. Or they're going to look at that and they're going to say, okay, well, we didn't make as much money here, but that was due to a government shutdown, which is a temporary thing. That's not really business related. Yes, it did impact it. It's not a business related problem, but it does highlight external risks that could impact the business. So you're going to have investors in both of those camps there, in my opinion, right? So it's just a matter of what camp is going to win. I would say I'd like to see a breakdown of, now we're getting real in the weeds here. I'd like to see a breakdown of how much retail cash is in American Airlines. And I'm not sure TradingView can do that. All right. Maybe scroll down on the right side. I know of another company, another tool that can do it.
What are we looking for? You want?
If there's like an institutional holdings breakdown.
I'll continue to look here. Otherwise, no,
I'm looking at order flow distribution, and it looks like it's mostly large money coming out. And I'm not going to show this because it's on a broker that we won't name. And then small money coming in. Yeah, more money going out than coming in. I'm gonna go bearish on this.
Okay, so we popped off that $14 price point twice. By the way, Ben, pre-market, I believe this would be the case. I haven't looked at futures yet, but market's down a bit, I would say,
yes.
This morning.
Yes.
So pre-market, this stock is trading at $13.77 right now. Ben, all right, I agree with you on bearish. This stock hasn't traded over $14 since end of February this year, and it's been tested a few times. All right, so Ben, if we were to put a trade idea on this, A, it wouldn't be financial advice, of course. And B, if we're bearish, how long are you bearish for? What type of play are you looking for? And what do you think looking at this?
So I'm thinking let's go out to when their next earnings report might be. So let's look at it.
22nd right here, Ben, if I'm looking at the bottom corner of my screen.
Is that how quickly they're going to report earnings?
Well, right, because this was weird. This was back in this was October.
Okay, so quarterly earnings came out, a couple weeks after the. Zoom in again on what the EPS is on the right. Yeah, zoom in. What does that date say?
This was October 23rd. This January makes sense.
Estimated.
So January 22nd.
Okay, so let's look for an expiration right after that.
I'm gonna have you pull it up if that's all right, unless you want me to.
Yeah, I could do that.
I just don't want to fumble around. Fumblerooski. Let's get the Desert Blaze music going here. Right? That's what we were talking about. Come on now. Hey, wake up, people. Are you ready for me to put your screen on or no?
Yes, yeah, sorry. I thought it was.
Don't apologize.
All right, so we've got the option chain up here on Tradier. I'm going to zoom in.
Yeah, you will.
See that better. I'm going to change the expiration date to, well, it looks like we got to go to February 20th.
So you want to go through earnings?
I do. I want to go through earnings in this case. Bearish play. And right now we're at about $14, right? So I don't hate the idea of buying like an in-the-money put and seeing how that would perform. We could also sell a credit spread at $14. If we sold 14, bought the 15, send that to our ticket, that's going to get us
really
almost 50 cents on the dollar there.
Market opening may change this.
Yeah, not as much as the weeklies though, because this is pretty far out.
That's true. That's
not a bad play. I mean, at that point, it's almost a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio, and you're really just counting on airlines being stagnant over the next couple of months. Now, there are already reports of airlines not performing well over Thanksgiving. We'll see how Christmas travel does for everybody. That's going to be a big indicator as to how Q4 has gone. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what American Airlines earnings is going to report. So I'm going to say, let's just take a look. If we go a little bit further out of the money, let's say we went up to $15. What are we getting? Come on, tell me. All right, we'll do it the old-fashioned way. All right, so 30 cents on the dollar, not as good. Of course, right? We're further out.
I mean, geez, 15 feels like a light year away.
Yeah, it feels pretty far. We've got 2.5 months to expiration. So the trade here, you could win $31 or you can lose $69. Right? So let's take a look at if we were to buy a put instead. I think I'd want to go now. Dillon, you still got the American Airlines chart up, right? What's the low that we've been at over the last 3 months?
So low of the last 3 months looks like we bottom out right at $11 pretty much.
$11, okay. I'm trying to think like what strike would we want to buy at? So like if we bought a $15 strike put, that's selling for about $1.75 at the moment, which that's about, based on pre-market, about $1.25 in intrinsic data, which means there's about 50 cents of extrinsic data, which I don't hate. Yeah, no, let's just stick to the credit spread. That's our thing here. Let's do the credit spread. Lock it in. That's the trade idea. You're going to sell the $14 strike. You're going to buy the $15 strike on the call side. We're going to try to get 50 cents in credit there. I think we can do it if we're patient with this order. So we can go ahead and get that set up. I'm going to just change this to, I want credit. I want 50 cents. I want good till close because I want to fill at that 50 cents, preview that, submit it.
I like it at 50. If that fills, I like it.
I'm in.
All right. Well, hey, look, pre-market, you might be getting yourself 25 cents, a quarter of breathing room. We'll see. We'll see when it opens here in about 40 minutes. Speaking of 40 minutes till open, Ben, we spent a lot of time on American Airlines there, which is fun. I like doing that. But let's do what we're great at, and let's talk about automation. Let's specifically talk about our King AI bot, which is a 1 DTE Iron Condor strategy on SPX.
Yep.
And I'm going to hand it over to you. Do you want a different vibe with the music before you get into it?
Let's try Ignition.
Okay,
I forget what that sounds like.
Okay. We can roll with this.
Yeah, we can roll with it. All right, cool. All right, we are back in the bot shop. So far in the bot shop, we have covered the King Condor strategy. We've covered Shorebo. We've covered Ben bots. So 3 of our bots have been covered in detail in this segment. So we are moving on to King AI, which is Dillon's favorite strategy. I think it's my favorite strategy too. We'll see. I mean, we've got a lot going on at all times.
Of our own. It's our favorite of our own. Competes with the wheel.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. King AI was derived from King Condor, if you couldn't tell by the names. However, that is confusing some people, so we might have to rename King AI. Should have thought about that beforehand, but oh well. So what are we going to cover over the next couple of weeks? We got 7 weeks, including this week, of learning on King AI. We're going to cover today just the intro, the basics of King. I already made a mistake here. King AI, not King Condor.
Oh, brother.
King AI. We're going to cover the intro and the results page, so that way you can follow along with how this bot does over this 7-week period from our results page. Then we're going to take 2 weeks to cover the AI machine learning training that this bot goes through, so that way you know what's being covered or what the bot is looking at. And I'll just tell you, it's looking at over 300 data points at the time of entry. We're not going to cover all 300 of those, but we'll cover the big ones like ATR, moving averages, RSI, so on and so forth. And we'll talk about what the bot is doing with those. And then finally, this bot makes 2 decisions, and that's weeks 4 and 5. Decision 1 is what delta are we going to set our sold strike prices at? And then decision number 2 is, are we going to trade or not? And that's going to be week 5. So we're going to talk about the parameters of what factors into the delta decision and what factors into the decision of to trade or not to trade. Then we're going to talk about exiting a trade. This strategy is unique in that it doesn't have an exit, and we're going to talk about why in week 6. And then continuous learning. How often is this machine learning model updated? How does that impact the strategy? And how does that impact potential historical results, right? Because we're showing a back test, but of what version, since this version is ever adapting. So a bunch of neat stuff to talk about. But today, let's just get into the basics. Let's talk about the high level of King AI, what it does, how it's been performing. We'll take a look at results.
I have them pulled up whenever you're ready, okay?
Yep. If there are any questions, feel free to throw those in the chat, and we will answer them as soon as we can. So to cover in basic, King AI, it is a 1 DTE Iron Condor strategy. It is our highest earning PeakBot strategy, mainly due to how long we've been able to back test it, going back to 2016. We've been live for the last 2 months, a little over 2 months now at this point, almost 3 months. Been performing well. And it is a short-term trading strategy. You do need $2,000 minimum to trade this strategy. And that's because we are trading $10 wide wings on these iron condors. And you could be in 2 condors at one time. You could be in the condor expiring today and the condor expiring tomorrow at the same time. In fact, you will be at most points. So you do need that minimum of $2,000. However, we like to budget about $10,000 per condor. So if you come onto PeakBot and you say, I want to trade 1 King AI, we're saying we think you should have $10,000. Of course, not financial advice. You make your own financial decisions. But we say that because if we lose, we want enough cash set aside to withstand those losses, to withstand some drawdowns. And the max drawdown that we've seen, both in backtest and actually live, which we've recovered from since, is about 15 to 16% of a drawdown. Yep. And that's with that $10,000 buffer.
So $1,500.
Yes. So this strategy so a loss of $1,500 in your account. This strategy does trade daily, and it is available on all PeakBot brokers. But right now we're focusing on Tradier. If you have Tradier Pro Plus, this strategy is trading SPX, so you get that discount on commissions on SPX with Tradier Pro Plus. I think it's just 10 cents per contract.
Which is 55 cents less than the other big brokers.
Yep.
Big deal.
So we've got some numbers here. So like we said, portfolio budget, $10,000. Actual cash needed for spreads, $2,000. The spread, like I said, at $10 wide. The delta is being selected by our machine learning model. It's going to be anywhere between the 10 and the 30 delta. All of these are 1 day till expiration. It can trade over the weekend, so technically 3 days till expiration. Actually, at that point, it'd be 4. So entry, we're going to enter after 3 p.m. Eastern, only if criteria hits, and the bot will not trade if VIX is too high or too low. If the VIX moves up too much overnight, which we might get too high of an overnight VIX move today. And then if there is a major scheduled economic event, think FOMC or political event, right? Like if we know that President Trump and Vladimir Putin are meeting, probably not going to trade through that. The annualized return using both live and back-tested data is 73.4%, and that breaks down to a 6.1% average monthly return. The win rate on this bot is 95%. The average win, $185. Average loss is $776. Max drawdown is 14.9%. These numbers need to get updated slightly, just very slightly. Average trades per month is 12, and today might be an example of one of those days where we do not trade. There are an average of 21 trading days every month, so you're trading about half of the days in the month. And then access to live King AI results. You could go to peakbot.com/King AI results, no dashes, no spaces in that after that /. So Dillon, why don't we go ahead and pull up?
Bang.
There we go. Now, when you're on this page, anything highlighted in green, on the left side for sure, on the right side should be, but sometimes our team doesn't always update it. Anything in green is
9:17. 9:17 it went live.
9:17 we went live. So Dillon, if you highlight on the left side there, and zoom in a little bit so we can see the numbers better. If you highlight all that, what does that add up to?
Some $1,200 in returns since launch. Okay, so some more statistics. Yes, I will zoom in here in just a second, but let's get the high levels since the bot has been live. It's made $1,200. So if we're doing cash on cash return, okay, $2,000 in order to run one of these a day, knowing that you can be in 2 positions at the same time, today's and tomorrow's trade, that's a 60%, right? My math good? Yeah. 60% return cash on cash since live, and that's in 2.5 months. Now, if we're going off of that $10,000 budget buffer that we like to do to help you weigh your portfolio, survive the drawdown, it's not financial advice, we're still talking 12% in 2.5 months. There's any way you spin it. This is a fantastic strategy right now. Now, here's some more stats. It's taken 34 trades, and it's only lost 4. Right? So that's 30.
Microphone, Dillon. Microphone.
You know, I don't know if it's that.
I don't know. As soon as you pick it up, it's better.
Yeah, you too. You know, as soon as you get right here, it's so good. 88. Data with live trade data as well. Okay, but 30 for 34 since the launch. You can see the losses here. Ben, we were watching this one. This one was fun. Okay, even though it was a loss. Okay, a partial loss of $146 on what was that Friday? Felt like a win, right? Felt like a win.
We were out of money all day.
We were live watching. We should pull up the bar, really, just really quick. Let's just pull this up. So this was on. It was Friday, right? I'm not losing my mind.
And it was Thursday, I think.
It was Thursday. No, that was Thanksgiving.
No, it was Wednesday then.
Okay, so it was. Oh, it was before Thanksgiving. Gotcha. All right, I'm not going to waste our time. Never mind. I lied. But anyway. So you can see the average loss, as Ben said, 775. As of late, since live, I mean, we can look at the average loss. We can do the math. It was 885. So let's just do. Never mind. I'm not going to waste our time.
If you just highlight those losing cells, the bottom right will tell you the average.
Yeah, Ben was an accountant. Ben knows what he's doing. So the sum average loss now under $700. Just under 700, 699. All right, so, and this is our max drawdown right here, Ben. We saw it, 15.35. We would say,
yep.
Because we had 2 losses in the stretch of 4 trading days. So,
And when you look back at the trade history here too, you're going to find that that's always the case. Whenever there's a loss within a couple of days, that's even too far away. But whenever there's a loss within a couple of days of each other, that's when the max drawdown occurs, and then you kind of just bounce right back up.
Yeah, and this is going back. We're in, going into 2023 now. This was This was the last one, and that drawdown was 1,200. Yeah, so yeah. But anyway, back to your slide here, Ben.
The strategy recovers nicely. High win rate. Of course, everybody likes a high win rate. We like to think that we get a higher win rate from our machine learning model that's making decisions on the back end for us. And we're also collecting more premium when that model decides to bump up the delta a little bit. Because it's boring to just trade the 10 delta every single day and make it a guessing game of when to trade and when not to trade. So
sometimes,
yeah. So Dillon, I'm going to hand it to you now, actually, to talk about what a win looks like versus a loss, and then we'll wrap up for the day.
Sure. So this is a great example on screen here. So what you can see is the entry of King AI, okay, represented by the first orange vertical line there. You can see the trade open right around 3:15 p.m. This was a live trade from the beginning of October. All right. So Ben's pointing at the line here. That's our entry. All right. 45 minutes left in the market that day, expiring the following day, which you can see our profit zone is highlighted in green here. All right. So that's the beginning of our trade, the expiration, and our sold strike prices for our condor. Okay. So those are the inner legs. That's the price we want to stay below, our sold call at the top, and the price we want to stay above, the sold put. Okay. In this scenario, when we opened this condor, we earned $220 in premium on $1,000 in total risk, all right, because it's a $10 spread. So I would have to assume, I'm not looking at it, but Ben, I think this is what we go with. I would assume that's about a 15 delta entry on average. It could each leg
probably.
Yeah, but just based on the premium earned there, 220. So all we need to do in order to win this trade is stay within the green lines or within our lines here, the profit zone. As you can see here, entry was no problem. The next day it opens up a little high, comes back down, and then we don't really sweat it for the rest of the day. All right, so that's a nice, we'll call it easy win. All right, $220 a unit, 22% return on cash for that individual trade. Now, Ben, let's show people what it looks like for a loss. This is going to happen statistically, 1 in every 10, 15 trades. Okay. So this is an $885 loss. How does that happen? Well, this was a real trade back on the 9th into the 10th of October. We collected $115 in premium. How do I know that? Well, this was a max loss scenario. We got blown out, which I'll explain why in just a second. And you can see it here. But $885 is the remainder of what's left from the $115 you collected in premium. Okay, so that premium's there, it's collected. Even if you lose, it's yours, but we lose the rest of it here in this scenario. What happened? Well, President Trump announced China tariffs about 100% that day out of nowhere at 10:30, which you can see those first three big red bars. That's 10:30, 10:45, 11 o'clock, and we just fell out. I like to say that almost anybody who had an iron condor on that day, unless you're at an incredibly low delta, in which you may have still been blown out completely. So we're happy to have a $10 spread on that, okay? That's our max loss right there, and that's a perfect scenario. Well, a perfect example, not a perfect scenario, of what a loss looks like for King AI. So again, it only takes about 6 to 8 trades on average to recover from a loss. All right, so over time, that makes this a very profitable strategy. Ben, back to you.
Awesome. So that covers all of the intro and results for the King AI strategy. And now, again, you can go to peakbot.com/King AI results and follow along with the results for the next couple of weeks. But make sure you keep tuning in, because these conversations are going to get more and more interesting as we get into how we're training our machine learning model next week. And we're going to talk about a handful of the different indicators that are being used and how they're being used. So that'll be part 1 of the training session. And then next week it would be part 2. So we'll cover the rest of the choice indicators, I'll call them, again, because we've got over 300 data points that we're looking at. We're not going to cover all 300 of those. We're just going to select the most well-known and talk about them in terms of in ways that will help understand what's going on behind the scenes.
Excellent. And by the way, if you want to keep track of the results, of course, please do so. But if you want to get started and start automating today, okay, maybe not today if VIX jumps up too much overnight, but King AI can be loaded in your account and trading in Tradier or any other brokerage in which we integrate with today. All right, so get started. Don't wait for the next loss. Don't wait for it. Get in there. And we're going to talk about next week. We're going to roll out a great deal for our PeakBot subscription, for our bots only plan. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. $500 in savings available coming next week only. All right, for an annual plan. So stay tuned. Ben, anything else we should cover? We got a couple minutes. Economic events.
Yeah, real quick, just economic events coming up. So today we've got some manufacturing data being released at 10 o'clock. Nothing much else going on the rest of the day until 8 o'clock tonight. That's Eastern. Powell will speak. I think the overnight bots are going to be off anyway because of VIX. However, if they're not, a speech by Powell will turn them off. So we won't be having trades from today going into tomorrow. Tomorrow, that's a shame because it doesn't look like there's much going on tomorrow. And then going into Wednesday, we've got some ADP data, it looks like, some S&P data, some services data. All that's in the morning, 10 o'clock mainly. That's what I'm looking at. And then nothing much the rest of the afternoon. So we'll trade Tuesday going to Wednesday, Wednesday going to Thursday, jobs data in the morning, some Fed speeches, but nothing too much. So we will trade Wednesday going to Thursday and Thursday going to Friday. We got PCE data at 10 o'clock. We got Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report. We got personal spending. So some high impact data. However, nothing that we're really going to take into consideration for turning our bots off for. So it looks like other than today and to tomorrow, we're going to be trading pretty much all strategies for the rest of the week.
Excellent. All right, so keep an eye on things. If you want to get started with PeakBot, King AI strategy, and any of our other strategies and or partners, head on over to our website and or our link tree right here at the bottom, linktree.com/usepeakbot. Our Black Friday, happy Cyber Monday. Right.
Oh yeah, it's Cyber Monday.
Happy Cyber Monday. Happy December. Things you start the show with, but we're ending with. Speaking of Cyber Monday, our Black Friday deal ends tonight. All right. All access past PeakBot Pro Plus. All right. So our community, our education, our bots, alerts, Discord, anything and everything. Our access fee is completely waived. You're saving $2,500. You'll never get a price like this again with PeakBot. All right. So check it out. Go to our website. You'll see the big banner. Buy now. Get involved. That's under $125 a month, it turns out, too, for the full year. Okay. So check it out. We'll be live again Friday at noon Eastern. Thank you so much. And as always, see you at the peak.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.